Like
waiting till you don't wait for things that you feel like.
You don't feel, but if I believe in the tooth fairy and superheroes, why would I be allowed to believe something? It's like I have an imaginary mind. It's like, wait a little bit. And instead, maybe of just going straight to jump to that, maybe we do some therapy. Maybe we try to sit down.
So
and just
you're
really
telling
figure
me
out
that you believed in Santa all the way till you're probably like 14, but people
No.
are wrong for thinking that, oh, maybe I'm a girl instead.
when I was 14, I was
What? Oh, this is weird. I don't normally watch XQC making very good points and being like, yeah, what? Correct. Oh, bien oui. Oh, bien fait. Okay. S'il vous plaît, continue. Oui. I don't know if you're like completely lost right now. The guy in the top left, Aiden Ross, who announced his retirement last week, which lasted what, less than 24 hours. So yeah, my bad for hoping against hope that maybe Aiden was going to stop doing what Aiden does. One of the world's biggest and most popular streamers ever, who obviously was one of Twitch's biggest streamers ever, who then eventually got kicked off the Twitch platform. But he has a long and horrifying and sordid history. I would suggest go watching J. Audrey's video on all terrible things that Adin Ross has done. And they include, by the way, since joining Kick, showing his entire audience pornography live on stream. So for someone who wants to in any way profess that he's now going to start, going after trans people specifically because he wants to protect kids is fucked, right? It's obviously, and right now he's trying to get back on Twitch. There was some leaked Discord, conversations that showed the CEO of Twitch is meeting with Aiden, but there's absolutely no evidence that they're going to let him back on the platform. I doubt they would. Things have just gotten way too horrifying, and he's gone way too far off the deep end for any major brand, I think, outside of things like Kick to want to actually like directly associate with him anymore. It's like,
for example, put it like this. Think about anything in the world. If something was like 0.5% or 1% of what was going on, there wouldn't be major statutes and huge amount of donations made, and the world would change just to appease a 1%. It would be like, hey, listen, we're gonna try to do things to help that 1%, but it's still a minority. I guess when it comes to trans individuals, it almost feels like it's the only minority that feels like a majority, and this is where like African Americans come in, because they're like, shit, yeah, we're a minority, but we never felt like a majority. We never felt like people had to, and I mean, at times it was that, but it was like we had to stop the world. We had to show the whole George Floyd or whatever the case is, like, hey, listen, this is unacceptable. While when it comes to like trans individuals, it's like everyone's kind of.
Let me tell you why.
I'm gonna let you go, but again, back on my thing, I just think like if you're a kid, bro, you don't really remember, but as a kid, you have like your brain is like a sponge, right? So like I just think like if you're so much more normal, like or you're learning so much shit, but like Disney, for example, is pushing like men's in skirts to be walking around and shit. Just let the kids be kids.
Holy shit, you have such a massive young audience, and you push so much fucked up shit on them, like cryptocurrency gambling, showing them fucking porn, like broadcasting porn on your live streams.
Let them do what they want to do, and if they want to be 18 and do whatever they want to do when they're 18, that's fine.
And by the way, where does Disney do that? Like, everyone lost their mind at Disney when Disney had, what, like a lesbian kiss in Buzz Lightyear, whereas like every other Disney movie ever has straight people kissing. There's love stories, there's straight love stories, there's goddamn lion sex scenes in The Lion King. Like, what are we doing here?
Like, if they're like near, but if they're near like 17, they know what they want to do, cool. But my thing is like, if you're a child, bro, like you shouldn't be like going to the doctors and getting like even like a considerate, like you should be pushed, like, oh, let's make you change genders. I don't know. It's just what I see.
People, the problem is that both sides, right and left, are putting a megaphone on small stuff, and that's what where the real problem is. Okay,
but it's a big problem.
It's a problem, and by doing what you're doing, you're making it a worse problem, and you're causing no healing. You're causing more damage. So that the right wing's been doing a lot. They take like out of like hundreds of thousands of trans people, right? One or two in the entire country had taken like HRT, whatever, and they will take that one case, one that was like crazy, and the person was like suffering from like major depression because they weren't getting what they wanted, and they'll take a megaphone, they'll put it on, they'll be like, dude, These people are fucking changing their fucking gender like at like 8 and they're gonna fucking die. It's like, okay,
I'm not saying that,
that's one person. You made it a problem. It wasn't a problem then. You made it a problem. You're putting a megaphone on it.
It's a problem now because it's giving kids ideas of like false shit. Like,
if you don't know who's in the bottom right corner, that's xQc. He is, I think as of right now, or maybe, no, Casenet has passed him, but he's the second biggest streamer on all of Twitch. Like just monstrously huge, massive ass, fucking rich as fuck streamer. Certainly not what I would consider normally to be any kind of like an LGBTQ plus ally or anything like that. In fact, he usually has pretty dog shit takes. So maybe he's like a good barometer of how much the conversation is changing for centrists or center-right normies, I guess. I mean, as normie as an insanely famous and rich person can be.
Hold on, you see Disney, for example. When did we start watching Disney? 3, 4, etc. Right? Disney, for example, push, and I mean, and you know, my thing is like back when I was in school, you know, back when I was in middle school, high school, I would have like transgenders in my class. So that's how you know. And I asked my parents, like, yo, mom, pop, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you see this in your class? Like, nah. And even my other older siblings, it's the same shit. So it's like, it's becoming more and more normalized to do it as a child rather than waiting till adultery. That's all I'm saying. Like,
wait, sorry, how's that proof of anything? You're like, so we had cartoons when I was kids. And I was like, yeah, so did I. I know we're different generations. I'm a millennial, he's a zoomer. But like, I had Disney cartoons growing up, and they had lots of romance and love stories, all straight, like 100% straight. And yet gay kids still exist. Almost all of media that was either available to children or just available to anyone of any age was showing straight relationships. And yet gay people still kept existing. Even though this indoctrination apparently was coming at such ferocity, you know, you never know if you're going to be turning on a little Goofy, the movie, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what? Two dudes making out. Holy shit. Well, I guess I'm now part gay. It's insidious. There's no control.
Waiting till you don't wait for things that you feel like
you don't feel, but if I believe in the tooth fairy and superheroes, why would I be allowed to believe something? It's like I have an imaginary mind. It's like wait a little bit, and instead maybe of just going straight to jump to that, maybe we do some therapy, maybe we try to sit down.
So you're telling me that you believe in Santa all the way till you're probably like 14. People are wrong for thinking that, oh, maybe I'm a girl instead.
When I was 14, I was
what? Oh, this is weird. I don't normally watch xQc making very good points and being like, yeah, what? Correct. Oh, bien oui. Oh, bien fait. Okay. S'il vous plaît, continue. Oui.
Still fucking thinking of crazy.
And she's even got the like, I am ascending right now. We're seeing xQc, you know, the wokeification happening in real time. Look at him wokeify before your very eyes. That's the face. That's wokery happening. You can see it in his eye.
Like abnormal stuff. I think when you become an adult, bro, that's when you know the most. It just hits you, bro. Like when you're adult, even close to adult, like even like 17, 16 maybe, like it's different for everybody, but bro, like it's just
yes. But you're not making permanent decisions on what you're feeling when you're young. They don't let you do that. For like 99.99999% of the time, you're not gonna fuck your life up because you feel those ways or you think those ways. They only let you when you're 18.
That's not true.
But
look at and I'm gonna bring it up. Dwayne Wade's child, for example. I think she's 12 or whatever. And again, that's his own kid. I'm not gonna I'm just giving you an example of something that's kind of like known out there. There's also many I could pull examples of if I wanted to do my research. My thing is this, bro. It's like
he's doing the exact thing that he was calling out right-wingers for doing, where he's like, you can take a single example where something happens, but that's not the vast majority. It's like 1 in 100,000 people had a bad reaction to, say, puberty blockers, HRT, whatever, or transitioning, and then all of a sudden everyone focuses on that person and gives them the microphone, and then all of a sudden everyone's thinking, oh, whoa, this is a massive problem that we need to stop right away, when you're listening again to not the vast majority of people who undergo these procedures.
Wait. Just wait, and if you still feel that way all the way to 18, okay, be yourself, do you.
Who's that person? Who's that person? Who's that?
Dwayne Wade's kid.
Dwayne Wade?
Correct.
Only 16, Zaya Wade was already making a huge impression on the world. The model influencer came out as trans in 2010, and along with her dad, Dwayne Wade, and stepmom, Gabrielle Union, has been an impactful voice about queer rights. Since coming out publicly at age 12, she's been inspiring teens to live their truth by confidently and self-assuredly being her true self, despite criticism that she and her family face. Zaya has also become a fashion influencer, and as of March 2023, a runaway model. Zaya has the full support of her NBA star father, an actress and stepmother. She's the strong one in the family. She's a hero. It's our family's job to make sure that we listen to her, we listen to doctors, we ask and question and formulate our own ideas of how Zaya should be and how she should be raised in this world, and we don't allow for others to do that for us. I think the question being not so much because I know xQc is getting really animated over this. The other point being, like, what's your point in bringing this up as an example, though? Like, what's wrong with someone who seems to be perfectly happy and content and is loved by her parents who also seem happy and content? Like, what's wrong with this image? The happy family. Oh no. The worst thing that happens in my experience of hearing what, you know, had happened to the celebrity family comes from cis folk, comes from cis assholes who consistently try to vilify him as a bad father because of it, or vilify them as having influenced their daughter into doing this. That's where it comes from.
All I'm saying is that person is a child, and I just think that they should wait years and years and years before they really jump down a road they don't know what they're going into.
Brother, when I was young, I thought I could have multiple girlfriends, and for years I had 2 girlfriends at a time, sometimes 3, right? And is that a good thing? Well, no, it's not. Most people are monogamous, right? And I understood with life that, hey, that's not how you're really supposed to do things, right? And then after when I grew up, I stopped doing that. Well, I mean, not really, but I stopped doing that. You know?
But that's not the same thing as what I'm saying.
You're not causing permanent damage on yourself, though. Unless you're on like HRTs and you're fucking your body up and making modifications, you will recover.
Again, so that, yeah, I guess that's as far as you're going to get AOC in his journey right now. No, the idea is not that if you take puberty blockers as a teenager, you're going to do irreversible damage to your body. First off, puberty blockers, again, supposed to buy you time while you make a very important decision about whether or not you are going to decide later to transition, at which point, if you do decide that you are going to fully transition, then you're going to be put on HRT and being taken off puberty blockers. That's the whole thing. That's where all the scary controversies come from. You know,
from your thoughts. When I was a kid, I thought I was a doctor. I thought I was a superhero.
Oh, did I say AOC? I meant xQc. Sorry. No, my apologies to AOC, who has nothing to do whatsoever with this conversation.
Hero, right? I wore a cape sometimes at school. I wore a cape. Does that mean that when I'm 18, I become brain dead? No, it doesn't do anything. Let people be people.
But that's what I'm saying, though.
Then let them think that they're a girl or whatever for 2 or 3 years until they, you know what? Maybe I was just feeling a certain way and then past it.
I just think it's hold on. I just think it's abnormally getting a little bit weird when we're pushing on our kids, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Nobody's pushing onto them, though.
It is. There's agendas being pushed on kids, like what I'm saying, for sure, 100%.
How? You've been asked for examples of this insidious nature, and you said, when I was a kid, there was Disney movies in school, and then there was also trans people in the classroom. That was your proof. That's what you presented here.
Disney is 100%.
The agenda tells them that if they feel those ways, they're not completely wrong or to be ostracized, and they're not gonna fucking kill themselves.
Oh, do you know when, Cassie?
It's not like, yes, it's a little bit overbearing, and I get that. It's a little bit too much, but it's the mentality isn't wrong.
What about when a Target's kids section had like an LGBTQ plus thing, like for the kids section? You know, when you're a kid.
What, fucking rainbows? There was rainbows available for kids who wanted to wear rainbows, or shirts that say pride on them. Oh no, the agenda is being pushed.
Don't shop there if you don't want to shop there. If you don't feel LGBTQ, you don't go there. Like
xQc, Target is an American thing, bro. We all shop at Target. Stop.
Yo, X, stop the cat, bro.
Come on, bro. Like, bro. Come on, bro.
X, I won't be honest with you. Man, I don't care if niggas want to think they're airplane, they want to think they a man, woman, kangaroo. Do your thing.
Exactly.
I definitely believe that we gotta let kids can't choose to go in the military, can't drink, can't do a
Hey, also, like, human beings are not giraffes and walruses and all the other animals that like people always want to compare people who are trans to. Yeah, again, this is something that's been pretty heavily researched. It's not people simply guessing when they're little children that there's something they're not. It has to be, like, if you look at the requirements, especially for people who are involved in gender affirming care, it has to be consistent and persistent. And again, the gender affirming care available to kids, when you're talking about kids, like kids, pre-pubescent children, we're talking about using different names. You can change your like look, maybe your hairstyle, stuff like that, pronouns. That's the extent of it. So it really just comes down to, do you, as a cis person, not want to be a dick or not, right? That's essentially it.
A lot of things until they at least turn 18 or maybe 21.
Okay.
Man, don't just seep it into shit. Like, you know what I mean? Don't just start putting into the curriculum to, you know, influence them to go away, because I'll be honest with you, as a kid, everybody's insecure. Everybody's looking for acceptance. Everybody just don't really know what's going on.
Okay, and they don't permit you to do the things you're talking about, though. Like, you're not causing permanent damage to somebody. They're not on HRTs, brother. They're not doing bodily modifications that they're not allowed to do. These things, if it's not true, if it's just a fad or a phase, it'll fade away, dude. It is what it is. When I was young, I was wearing fucking pink fucking wristbands all the time, and I had girls do me little bracelets. And you know, I stopped doing that. I don't feel that way.
That's way different.
Because where they're trying to push it is to have kids be on some of these hormones.
Give me examples. Like, give me statistics.
Wait,
give me statistics and give me fucking examples.
Yo, xQc. It's not about statistics. It's about trying to stop or reverse, like, you know, a trend that we're seeing happen. They want these kids to try to, you know,
then provide data on the trend. How is there evidence of there being some kind of insidious woke mind virus that is turning the kids gay, right? That Disney or that all these other companies that produce content for children or geared at children are somehow influencing children to suddenly want to be part of the social contagion that will have them potentially ostracized from their families. Then why? Like, I used to hear that shit about you know, kids being 100% homosexual in my school when I was in high school. I used to hear people say all the time that, like, oh yeah, you know, it's just they've chosen that lifestyle and it's just such a terrible thing, and like, you know, they're going to get in, like, I was like, chosen that lifestyle, the lifestyle where I see the kids who are like openly gay at my school get beat up, get chased around, get bullied, get teased, whose parents may or may not be accepting to them or may even kick them out of the house. Why are they choosing that? Like, it seems like everyone around them is treating them like shit, and then saying that they're choosing to be that way when it seems like they're being that way in spite of how much harder it is for them, in spite of how much everyone is chasing them and beating them and teasing them, and you know, there's high rates. Nearly half of all homeless youth are LGBTQ plus. There's probably a lot to be said about that. You know, even if you want to say that they make up a larger percentage of kids today than they ever did, there's probably more people identifying as LGBTQ plus, sure, but that's still a massive problem. That shows that the treatment of queer folk is hard, and the stigma that is being put upon them as well, led by people who, again, don't understand it, right?
Make these decisions before, you know, they're really of age.
Wait, bro, what trend, what statistics, what example? I'm not seeing what you're seeing. I think you're talking about like one person who did something, and then the whole right wing went to, this is killing our kids. It's like one guy out of the middle of fucking in Wisconsin or some shit like that. It was on drugs, some shit like that. Chill. Nobody.
Yeah, I'd say that's what this is more than anything else. It's really showing you that xQc, basically, let's say he's probably center right in a lot of his politics. He's shocked, I guess, at this point to have seen just the nonstop obsession, because I've said this for a while, right? Like normies, especially, or even people who aren't 100% tied into politics 24/7, when you see the way that right-wingers are obsessed with trans folk, and that every single segment is about this evil trans person and the insidious nature of the trans agenda, the gender ideology that's coming through, and the JK Rowling of the Glinners, and the whole this and that, like, it just looks like people obsessed with, again, what, 0.7% of the population, and when it comes to children who are receiving a lot of this in many cases, life-saving care. We're talking about sometimes hundreds, if not thousands, tops kids. So not a lot in terms of this, like in totality of the American experience, but holy fuck, the amount of attention that is dedicated by the right-wing apparatus to consistently go after trans people and trans healthcare and find like this is the front line of the culture wars. I mean, anything that could be done in order to marginalize the community while simultaneously distract everybody in our base from actual problems, right? Like, then if you're a politician, if you're Ron DeSantis, if you're any of these Greg Abbotts of the world, you got to come forward and explain why shit sucks. Like, why does shit suck? And in the case of Greg Abbott, well, it's immigrants, the filthy Mexicans, the gay agenda, the trans agenda, and they're coming and they're taking our lives away from us. So we need to stop them. Let's put all our resources into that, the thing that we need to keep pouring resources into. Don't look at anything else. Don't talk about anything else. Don't talk about how low Texas is in all of the United States in terms of their access to healthcare, and having like this is this to distract us. Right? And even people, I guess, like the xQcs of the world, they're like, what the fuck are any of you talking about? I always hear about how like trans people are destroying society and all this. And he's like, and when it comes to like people who actually have a negative response to, you know, taking puberty blockers, HRT, that kind of stuff, we're talking about like, you know, edge cases. 1 in 100,000, all of a sudden there's like, you know, you found that one person and they get the megaphone.
It's killing anybody. Dude, like this isn't, it's not a problem. It is because you're making it a problem.
Okay. My thing is when you said don't shop there, when I said Target, where everyone goes, you know, when you're a parent, you want to be able to sit down your child when it's time and explain.
Right. But you get that, like, you can also just not buy the things that you don't want to buy. No one forces you to have to buy things at Target. You're not in Target and like, all right, now time for rainbows. You ready to buy some rainbows, motherfucker? We'll make you buy those rainbows. You fucking drink the rainbow sauce. No, it's, you go there. If you want to, you might have access if they haven't had to take them all away because weirdos call in bomb threats or want to fucking take down the aisles if they see rainbows now. But if you want to, you could buy them. And if you don't want to, you don't have to buy them. You could just avoid the rainbows.
What certain things are. I just think it's wrong. No, for real. I think it's wrong when school teaches you about politics and sexuality shit. I think it's really wrong. I think when you're a parent, that's when you sit your child down and that's when you really.
Or what, streamers? Didn't you show your audience of a lot of fucking minors a whole bunch of pornos, Aiden? Instead of browsing Pornhub on Kick? Didn't you do that?
Explain about life.
Yes,
do you agree
Aiden.
with that?
Yes, Aiden.
Okay.
But society already does that because it's ingrained into the more traditional way. Society already.
And also, like, why teach kids history then? Because you want it to be apolitical. Like, well, I just rather that like politics aren't taught in schools. All right, so what are you going to try and do? Kind of like apolitical history lessons now? I mean, I'm curious. By all means, do it. I don't understand what you could do except maybe talk about colors, shapes, sounds. You know, the colors on the American flag rather than any part of colonial or American history.
Shows you that, and those things in the more heterosexual way, because you are that, you're not seeing it, and you don't identify that. But because there's a few examples of non-hetero things. Oh my God, they're putting. You say 20 movies about girls kissing guys. Oh, whatever. Yeah, you're in dating time. One guy kiss another.
Oh my God, he's right. Yes. Oh no, the normies are getting radicalized, and it's making the right nervous. The xQcs of the world. Yeah, I don't know. It does seem though that like every single like movie, video game, TV show, book, like all the stories, they're all what's that? It's like normalizing heteronormative, like lots of it is just hetero shit. Yeah, and I don't have any problem with that. You know, as a mostly hetero man myself, I totally understand why heterosexual shit can be fun as hell. But it's not like when I see some gay shit, I'm instantly like, well, this is indoctrination. Yeah, no, the other ones, well, they all, well, the vast majority of them, they exist in order to entertain us. But in this one, it's trying to transform people. To convince them of a different kind of a lifestyle, to make that lifestyle seem normal and perhaps even good. Maybe if you do that, if you normalize the very idea of being a homosexual, well then people who may not have wanted to explore that kind of stuff might explore that kind of stuff, and who knows what the future will bring. Could be very, very gay.
Guy, oh my God, the agenda, gays. Relax, brother.
Yeah, it takes an Aiden Ross of the world to make xQc Suddenly, you know, to overturn window him a bit, to pull him back from the right, you know, and then squeeze him and pull him a little bit to what is like some people wouldn't even say is the left, would just be common decency kind of thing.
It's not that big of a fucking deal. Christ, that's insane. You're making it a problem. Like, they're not pushing an agenda. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
So you don't think putting gay kids?
But you know what is more impressive is watching the chat, being like, true, 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 true. Yeah, no shit.
LGBTQ in the kids section of Target. You could put in the regular section of Target. Cool, that's fine.
When you say LGBTQ, what are you saying, Aiden? You mean a rainbow? There was a rainbow shirt available for kids to buy. By the way, there was a conspiracy theory on the right that they were selling what was it, like bathing suits for little kids to like try and tuck their genitals in and stuff. Completely made up. That was not true. They do sell, let's just say, LGBTQ plus related things for kids, and I'm sure if you saw them you'd be like, oh, that's exactly what you think. It's a rainbow. Yeah, it's a t-shirt with the rainbow. Oh, it says the word pride on it, and it's also got a rainbow. Wild stuff. That's indoctrination. And if you show that, can't show that.
Adult clothing. You don't think putting it in the kids section of Target's a little bit twisted?
The way that they're doing it isn't always right, and they're fucking stupid. But
thank you.
The behavior inherently isn't bad. Having a fucking pink shirt in the men's section isn't the agenda of Joe Biden controlling your brain. It's not.
That's not
the
what
way
I'm
they're
saying.
doing it isn't right, but the message is correct.
No. I used to wear the I Love Boobies bracelets too, the pink ones, and you know the breast cancer awareness. I used to wear it all the time.
Okay, but if it was I Was Dicks, you would fucking be up in arms about it. You were wearing I Love Boobies shit, but if it was I Love Dicks, you would be all up in arms about it, and you would say, kids should be wearing that. How can you even buy this? This isn't correct. Then you know you'd be doing this.
Well, no shit.
This is how the revolution begins, comrades. Yes, with the dick bracelet argument. Oh, so you're okay with the titties, but if those bracelets said I love dicks, you'd think it was part of some radical agenda, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you, soy cock?
You know,
oh my so by default, you're saying,
I mean, of course, it's way different.
How is it different?
It's as simple as, oh, they're putting a pink thing in like the men's section. Is that they're encouraging men, right, who are biologically men, who are born with penises and have the hormones of men.
That's a sex, not a gender.
Men penises.
Depending on your socialization or how you feel at the moment, you could now select your gender after birth. That's what people talk about. We don't care about.
So they couldn't even convince right-wingers to go on HRT as a bit to be transphobic at the Daily Wire, the core, the biggest hate network that YouTube still fucking is completely fine with just being like, oh yeah, you know, we'll give them a couple taps on the wrist. At the Daily Wire, where you got a whole bunch of people who were like, hey, by the way, let's do a whole bit where we get a whole bunch of guys, we put them on HRT, and then we get them to like sneak into sports teams. It turns out they couldn't do it, both because they couldn't find men who wanted to do that, because they're like, what it'll do? Well, it'll have some pretty traumatic effects. Yeah, it may cause gender dysphoria amongst you as you start growing more breast tissue and you start growing hair where you weren't growing hair before, and your body distribution of fat is going to change dramatically, as is your muscle mass. Yeah, it's going to have very, very strong physiological effects upon you. So would you do it? No. Why would I do that? That sounds very scary. Okay, so you wouldn't do the thing that you're trying to force trans people to do. I know it's hard to like wrap your head around that. That's the whole bit.
Identify
on all the government forms. On all the government forms you filled out, does it not say sex M/F?
We're not talking about government forms. Respectfully, we're talking about government forms. We're talking about, like, I completely get your argument and you're right, but the people we're talking about, they want to be able to pick not only gender but sex. They're picking.
That doesn't seem right.
Have you met someone that is like, I gotta be clear because I know I'm still on Twitch, trans, and if do you think they identify like, oh, I'm actually a male sex-wise, but I consider myself as a woman? They don't. They call themselves a woman and a female. That's a fact. Why y'all acting like they still consider themselves a male?
They still mean the gender though. Like, and if they don't, they're wrong. But that doesn't. Why do you feel so enraged and compelled to write them. That's the government's fucking thing to do that. If they misrepresent themselves on a government form, they're now wrong. That's fucking illegal. If they say sex and they misrepresent themselves, that's actually wrong. Why do you feel like you have to go, no, you are this, you are that? Yo, chill the fuck out, bitch ass. Chill out.
Correct them. I don't feel compelled to correct them. I'm just showing the fallacy in what you just try to explain.
Not a fallacy.
And well, maybe not you, but
well, yeah, it's just kind of like, again, I'd say this is the only real positive to take from this whole thing so far has been like, you can see for the center right, all right, xQc crowd, things have gone too far. It's just gone too wild. It's just too much to witness, you know. I have had people who I know, either associates, family members, or stuff like that, who are like, you know, pretty centrist libs for the most part, who said things like, I'll be honest with you, I don't consider myself a leftist in any way, shape. I do not, but sometimes I'm being called one because the right has gone so far. He's like I didn't think it was like a quote unquote leftist or radical position to not want to just be outward bigots towards like marginalized groups. And like, it seems like if you're trans, it's like totally acceptable in the right to just be real mean about that. Or the fact that like right wingers are now trying to just kind of like make it totally normalized to be really racist. Like, it used to be extremely racist to say something like, a black pilot, I don't trust them. That was the thing that racists said to other racists, to signal to other racists that they were racist. And now it's just like, oh no, I'm not saying black people. I'm saying I care about hiring practices, DEI. That's what this is about. And I think it's unfair if black people are pilots simply because they're black, right? And that's not a real thing that happens. So you're doing the old one. You're just doing the I feel nervous around black pilots because racism. That's it.
The Trainwreck said, well, you know what? You guys are right. Sex, there's only two sexes, but you could have multiple genders because that's a social construct. I'm telling you that usually if someone, and by the way, I'm not even passionate about this, truth be told.
Right. You fooled me. But most people are most likely going to be both the gender that they were assigned at birth. Most people are cis, like me. Most people don't even understand this concept at all for a very long time because they have to be told it. Because I'm cis, and I did not have that lived experience of what that's like. And then most people are also going to identify as either men or women. But statistically, yes, that is true. That doesn't mean that you just get to ignore other realities. Same thing applies to sex or sexual characteristics, and the same thing for people who have differences of sexual development, or intersex people, for example. You just can't ignore the existence of them simply because this is bimodal, as in most likely it's going to be one of two potential outcomes, but there are other potential outcomes as well. And just because there are two very frequent outcomes that do happen on a regular basis doesn't mean that you get to ignore the other ones. And that one's obviously pretty important.
But usually if someone was born.
Also, I do love people screaming that I'm not passionate about this.
Right? A female.
Because they are part of it. They're part of this top-down conspiracy that's taking place globally to try and influence us to become the they-them army. And once we do that, we'll be easy to take over by the globalists. That's how the whole thing works, right?
It's like instincts are so selective in your outrage. It's fucking insane.
I only care about kids, bro. Leave the kids. He left. I only care about leaving the kids out of it, bro. I just got mad about the Target shit, and I get mad about, you know, like having puberty blockers for kids. That's all I get mad about.
That doesn't happen though. It's like
it does. Some parents allow it.
I said it. Give me statistics. I said.
Yeah, it does to people who are undergoing puberty. Yeah, teenagers going through puberty will be put on puberty blockers. It's in the name. Yeah, and there is parts of the world that are reversing course on that, namely right now, notably the UK, based on, again, the travesty that was the Cass review and trying to use that to form public policy. It's not based in science, though. Again, if you look at this, if you're in the US, every major medical association in the US agrees upon this. Everything from the Endocrine Society to the Society of Psychologists, like every single group that looks upon this information does so from the scientific reality that, yes, this for a very small percentage of the population can be enormously beneficial, can be life-changing, right? And then for you to be like, but what about the kids? It's like, well, fucking, you want to protect kids, stop streaming. If you want to help children, if you want to help younger individuals who might get confused by hate, bigotry, or something, or get indoctrinated online, stop being a fucking streamer. Stop putting out this shit.
Give me examples. Give me articles. You have given me nothing.
I'll tell you what, because I'm not informed. I don't really spend all my time doing this.
Just give me one.
I'll find some. If I really take time to Google it, I can. I saw a number saying 17,000, but I want to look into it before I really use it as evidence.
So you're pushing a narrative with absolutely nothing, no backing, no knowledge, no statistics, and no examples.
But xQc, if you don't think there's ever been a minor that's taken puberty blockers, it's a no.
Okay, and you were mad about the tattoos earlier. And how many minors get tattoos?
I don't agree with that though. I think minors should not drink, get any type of tattoos, any permanent.
You don't seem to be very vocal about that though.
I just said that I don't agree with that. I don't agree with any permanent damage with minors. I think when you're 18 and 21, that's when you start drinking and smoking weed and doing permanent damage to your body. I don't think that you get into those things at a young age.
Yeah, that's great. My policies are based on things I hope to research later on. Yeah, my particular form of bigotry. If I'm going to use my massive ass platform to advocate for things that could restrict the healthcare of other human beings, it's things that I plan to look up later. I can't wait to learn about this. It's going to be really neat. And when I do, you'll see why my beliefs are justified.
Howdy, everybody. I just wanted to let you know that for the cost of a cup of coffee, you can unlock bonus uncensored episodes of Mind Explosions by going to patreon.com/theserfs. Our videos couldn't exist without your support, and all our content is released early to our Patreon subscribers, as well as a ton of extra content you can't get anywhere else. Please like, subscribe, and thumbs up this channel. And if you're feeling extra perky, share it anywhere you think people would like to see or learn from our videos. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We first want to give a shout out to everyone who makes this show possible. This program is produced thanks to the generous support of our Patreon supporters: Anna Loves Riley, Ariane McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbar Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Peanut Butter Blondie, Political Poppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Bomey, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Ruby, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Travis McClinton, and Words Greenwood, as well as every other person you see on the screen right now. This show would not be possible without them. And if you want to join these wonderful people who make this entire program possible, simply go to patreon.com/theserfs and you can unlock uncensored and bonus episodes and, help us exist.